This episode made possible by HomeOwner Magazine in select cities across the country, and also in loving memory of Kimberly Campbell. The suicide statistics were shocking, to say the least. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States.
It's not lost in today's decision. It's only made to go forward and strengthen in all of our industry's ability to continue physical health and certainly mental health in the way of physical fitness.
Ever increasing. Suicide itself is a pandemic.
We just wanted to make sure that, like all businesses, fitness industry was allowed to stay open if we all agreed to a remedy, or in this case, protocols that we would follow to stay open.
According to the National Institute of Mental Health, suicide in 2018 was the second leading cause of death from ages 10 years old to 34. Today we are with Tom Hatten. He is the Business Journal's Most Admired Leader, 2017, the CARE recipient, which is Contributing to Achievement and Redefining Excellence, 2017, the local 50/50 Scottsdale Firefighter Association did award you that too. Tom, please introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you for having me on today. Tom Hatten, I'm the CEO and founder of Mountainside Fitness Centers. We are just about ready to roll into our 30th year in business here in Arizona. Yeah. We're excited about that.
Get ready for the real estate show that takes you across the barriers and into the danger zone. That Bitchin' Real Estate Podcast with your host, Tenacious T.
But you're not just a huge corporation, a nationwide business that's doing its best to stay open for our community. You are the small businessman.
Yeah.
You are the mom and pop shop. You are the reason we are America, right? You had a dream that you said yes to.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think when we talk about the stories of the American dream, and certainly Mountainside mine was exactly that. You couldn't have drawn it up any different than that, really. Just one day I was in college and was going to be a teacher and a coach. And the next day I woke up with this dream of maybe owning a gym. Back in those days, it really wasn't that big a deal.
No, I was 18 in 1990, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was completely different. Jazzercise was considered cool back in those days, right? Oh my gosh, so different. But it really was, and I didn't have any money. Literally, I had $2,000 to start, and I painted houses to kind of allowed me to try to open up a business, and a lot of little things along the way. So I never, you can't take the roots out of you. Those will always be a part of who I am, and I think that always goes into how we run the Mountainside and go forward to just people in general.
Right. So like many of the small business owners, the restaurants, the mom and pop shops, you put everything you had into this business. You duct taped, stapled, did what you had to do to start your business. And then when you started it, you kept going, putting everything back into it, not taking a paycheck, living off of what you were able to do with painting houses.
Right. That is correct. Yeah. I think it was funny because I think you start to dive into what will you do if you really want it. And I thought I kind of knew when I played sports how hard I would work and what that meant.
Yeah.
And then I got into business, and I think the athletic part of me, the competitive part of me, took over and said, you're not going to fail, so what are you prepared to do?
Yeah.
And it was anything. And it was not sleep. And I think at that time, I did towels. We started towels, and, and I was the towel service.
Genius, by the way. There's nothing like a fresh towel when you go into the gym, because who remembers the towel? And if you do, it's the dirty one that's in the back of the car that's been there for 2 weeks.
You bet. And nobody wants to think, right? They just want to show up.
Yeah.
I need you to show up. So I figured I'd do the thinking and do the laundry. So that's what I did for a while. And, you name it, it was always a part of whatever the day called for. If it meant cleaning the toilets, I'm going to do that. If I'm going to sell memberships, I'll do that. Whatever it needed. And that's just kind of part of, I think in business in general, it was certainly a big part of how we started and grew.
There's the old saying, do you want to succeed or do you want to breathe? You didn't want to breathe, you wanted to succeed. Yeah. Part of what you were doing in those first few years, how important was getting physical fitness yourself to alleviate some of that stress. How important was that for you?
It was funny because even getting into, I was always an athlete that then, owned a gym, but I wasn't a gym guy.
Yeah.
That was that. So I really kind of morphed into fitness. And I say that compared to a gym because I think fitness really covered, certainly your mental health. We talked about that
Yes.
off camera, but your overall physical well-being, how you eat, nutrition, and started to understand that a little bit better. And then as I kind of went forward in the business, took on those characteristics to go, it's just not about how you look. It's certainly about how you feel both
Yes.
inside and, mentally. So I think we started to morph in that pretty quickly because I was morphing in that as a kid and really kind of tried to live that way and feel like it was more than just pushing weight around.
And it is. And one of the things you started to do was say thank you and give back to your community and give them that day to have pizza and beer and just come in and say thank you to yourself for your self-care because it is so, so vitally important. And this is the theme of what you're trying to do today as well. You're trying to help your community maintain a level of physical fitness, immunity is important, and your mental fitness. You went through a really difficult time in the crash, 2009, 10, 11, 12.
Yes.
And something really significant happened also. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, this was, it's hard to believe that you can say to withstand the amount of tragedy or the things that are unexpected in your life because you just start off and I was an entrepreneur in business and what the roads that takes you on, both amazing roads that you would never dream and also somewhat very tragic roads. And I had my closest friend, developer, that we shared an office together, certainly our assistant, we both had Andy, used with Annie, and then the crash happened, and a lot of bad things happened. He had a brain tumor that he thought he was going to die of, and it came back. I think he was on the verge of filing bankruptcy. He was in the middle of a divorce. I had filed a bankruptcy with all the real estate that I had, and the day of his birthday, he sent a letter to myself and our assistant with a key in it, and he had decided to take not only his home life, but his whole family's, and then sent us the key to the house, so to go find him and everything. So I think it's hard to understand tragic at that level, because you can certainly understand it on a certain financial level.
It is, but I think the entire world is starting to understand tragedy at that level.
Yeah.
I myself lost a 13-year-old boy almost 10 years ago, committed suicide and died in my arms. And this is why the physical activity of being able to alleviate the stress and the anxiety is so vitally important with the condition that we find ourselves in today.
Yeah.
What did you do? I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that happened after that, but how did you begin to process that extreme loss and the constant question of why did physical activity play a part in that?
Yeah, I think if, Jim used to say to me, and I thought it was a beautiful thing he would say, is if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. Like truly, he meant that in business, but it's certainly in life. And if, it's taken me years to try to live with the why, because you can't understand it, right? At some point you just cannot understand it, and I kind of came to grips with that. But in that process, functioning forward in whatever I was doing, certainly, my job was kind of interesting because it is fitness, and then doing that and being, the plumber that fixed the pipes, summer pipes, was important. And I had to make sure that I could get up out of bed every day and still do the things that I would do if I was not the owner of the gym, but I was just going there because my mental health was not, it was hard. It was really, really hard. Yeah.
I mean, literally, you want to scream, you want to punch something. There is a buildup that happens inside of you, and the only way you can release that is through a physical activity. Literally screaming, literally lifting a weight, running on a treadmill. For me, it was number one. I couldn't sit there and drink all night because I knew I had to get to the gym the next morning, because the gym was the only thing that was going to give me that 1 hour of reset, of reprieve, taking everything out. And this is why it's so vitally important that our gyms stay open.
Yes. I think, we've learned a lot in this last 6 months. Obviously, it's kind of like the crash, right? You didn't see that coming as a business. And it was interesting then because it was segmented. right? Jim's situation was completely different. That was off the grid, but that was segmented. This is not. This is far-reaching in so many other ways, leading to the kids, you know, certainly to small businesses and how we function with government and what does that do to us? How does that feel suffocating? And then how do you classify yourself in that? Is a liquor store essential or is a health club essential? You know, there's probably an argument, right? And you can argue both probably pretty good on those things. But I do think that was some misguided leadership in the fact that seriously, you know, fitness in all forms is truly essential for all of us.
I have a couple of stats that I'd like to quote. Number one, you say culture is the soul of your company. And I think we've got a little taste of the type of human being you are, the never give up attitude, the yes to your dreams, the fight for your right to be able to run a business and give it to the community, give it back to the community. So a couple of stats when it comes to that. Women show a near 3-fold increase in alleviating anxiety, stress, and depression if they exercise 3 times a week. With men, it's 4 times, 4-fold. In 2015, studies proved that exercise reduced suicide attempts by 23% amongst bullied teens. And as we know, as of 2017, the ages 10 through 14, it is the second leading cause of death, suicide is. Suicide isn't always due to a, let's say, a mental diagnosis. It can be the culmination of events in your life, a divorce, a job loss, loss of all of your real estate, loss of your business. The one thing that we can do is exercise to release some of that stress. Tell us why Mountainside Fitness loves its community and what it has done over the years to really make itself so different from all of the other big gyms in corporate.
Well, I think it was because we were born from the community. I mean, I wouldn't be here today talking to you if it wasn't from the support of the community who believed in how we, I would say, delivered fitness. And part of that delivery was creating an atmosphere that was a community. When we were talking about earlier, we did back in the day do, I'd bring in a keg of beer and pizza and soft drinks and on a Thursday night, last Thursday every week. And we were Facebook before there was Facebook. Like we were creating a community that said, hey, look, we understand the stresses in your life, you know, let's just take this day off. I think as we've grown our culture in that, it's been important to say, hey, look, we're not out there to go just make money. We're a part of this community. You, joining Mountainside, have now joined a part of this family, this community. Yeah. Therefore, we're going to see what we can do to give back, whether it was Make-A-Wish, certainly the Special Olympics, we, you know, on and on, to the different charities that we've given to over the years, even down to the Arizona COVID Relief Fund. You know, we donated a big check to that. And so I always felt like it was our privilege and duty in that order to be a part of that, because Arizona's given so much to us, and it's been an opportunity within the United States that's been so unique. And that's why you probably saw me fight so hard, and will always, because I want everybody to have that unbelievable opportunity that I had. It should never be taken away, and the lens that we all look through, and not just go, we're just going to make a decision that's going to affect everybody's, in this case, certainly mental health, physical well-being.
I did interview a few firefighters because, again, you're one of their favorites. They also need the physical exercise. One of the first things they do when coming off of shift, and they've been fighting the COVID, is hit the gym. They need that reset. It is so vitally important to our first responders who are on the front lines that they have access to this release. And by closing down our gyms, where are they going to go? Where are we going to go? Where's the stay-at-home mom going to go that's stuck with the children with remote learning? Please, dear God, don't close the gyms. But number one, they wanted to say thank you for your fight. They watched it intently and go!
Must-see TV, right?
And I think that your community is 100% behind you, and we want to help you fight this fight. We love to see the small businessmen grow in our valley. What can we do to help you further?
Well, I appreciate that question, and the support has been unbelievable. And never unintended consequences. We never expected that when it said we were going to stay open. I just felt like that was the right thing to do, but not just for. And I said that not just for Mountainside, but it was really it could be any business tomorrow. And the arbitrary nature is like that's where the line is drawn on this whole thing. I think just the support of understanding that we are essential.
Yeah.
You know, we are in a nonstop. Unfortunately, we wake up every day in this industry trying to go, okay, what could happen next?
Yes.
And then how do we account for that
Yeah.
so that we will stay open? The end of that, and try to make it to this, in this case, finish line to where we feel safe as a society, because there is these factions. It's almost like a rerun of the politics. You know, you have the masks and the non-masks and the mentality in between, and the moms that are at home and trying to self-teach the kids, and the kids are losing their minds, the moms are losing their minds, and dads are. It's crazy, and trying to maneuver through that. We're just looking for the support to say, hey, we're all in this together, and we are doing the best we can, but it can't go away. We aren't the cause of it, so we're not going to be the end all of it either.
So let's touch base on the safety of working out in a gym. Have you done any recent studies?
Yeah, we've done, a couple things are really interesting. First of all, I think in fitness industry, we have the ability, unlike most businesses, to control what you touch. So after you touch it, we can clean it, you can clean it, I can control the distance, and that kind of stuff, which is unique than more businesses out there.
Yeah.
That's plain and simple. The other thing is that when we were in litigation with the governor's office, they brought on Kara Christ, who's the director of health services, and General, who's in charge of contact tracing. Both could not find one case that was derived from a health club. So ironically, we were closed, but you didn't find one case. You could find 100 if you wanted to go into any grocery store or whatever. So I think that was the key there is look, we want to help and support, but if you don't have pure proof that we are the super spreader or whatever, then let's just stop talking about it and look at what it is and look at the whole society in general and work together and not try to pick out things that,
Because again, the one thing that we all do when we head to the gym is to get our mind set. And I'm wiping down the equipment before I get on it. I'm wearing my mask. I'm getting checked before I come in that I have a mask on. We are all respectful of each other's self-care. And the benefits well outweigh any sort of argument that they could put into place, especially when there's no evidence of a super spreader.
I would agree with you. And it's fun to see the clubs and everybody's working together. People are mask tired right now. They are. They're just exhausted, right? I'll go in there, it's fun. I was in there working out this morning, and there's a group people, and you'll just see people are just tired of it, and I certainly understand, and I'll walk up to them and go, I'm with you, this stinks, you know what I mean, but I need you to help out. And they're like, I'm sorry, I actually forgot. Or, it's always good stuff because they understand the bigger picture that we're all trying to do. But at the end, we are essential, and that's it. And it was part of it.
And right now, to support each other, just put the mask on, wash your hands, and let's work out, man.
I like that. Let's work out, man. Absolutely.
I always like to end an interview on a few of what I call the famous questions. Do you remember James Lipton in the Actors Studio? The questions along this line. And I want you to think of health and fitness when I ask you these first two words. So when it comes to health and fitness, what is your favorite word?
Effort.
Effort, yeah. There's no health and fitness without effort. I love it.
Yeah.
What is your least favorite word?
Exhaustion.
I'm too exhausted. I can't make it to the gym. Yes, you can.
Yes, you
can make it there. Even if it's just a walk for 30 minutes, you can make it there. Love that.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a personal question. You've been working all day. We're talking probably an 18-hour day. You got about 4 hours of sleep. And that alarm clock goes off. What is your turn on? What is the first thing you either do or think about to say, I have to get up and I have to get moving today?
Truth, I have to get up and I have to get moving today. Because it can change because of what might have happened yesterday, or what was going through my mind when I was sleeping, or what's in plan for this day. Sometimes there's no I have zero interest in wanting to get up and deal with whatever that is, but the key is I go back to Jim's statement, if you're not moving forward, then you are moving backward in your own mental and health and certainly physical well-being. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, how am I going to frame this day and then get up and go?
And there's, again, a community that's relying on you, that needs you to go, that needs you to keep the damn gym open.
Yes. We talk about this. There's nothing to protect the kids. Nobody, when they came in and interviewed somebody for the front desk, and they worked that. They were asked to check in, Kimberly and Bryan, and say hi to you and thank you to you and have a great workout, right? And why weren't you here on Tuesday? Because, dude, you're always there on Tuesday, right? That's what we hire the kids to do. And now they're having to take temperatures and check this and be mask mediators and all this stuff. It's so tough. So I think if that's my job is to make sure they're safe, and then everybody that goes in there has a place to be, then that's my job. Yeah. And I will get up every morning and do my job, because they're certainly being asked, even the members are being asked to do things that they're not expected to do. Yeah. So I better get up and get going every morning.
Love it.
Yeah.
What's your turn off?
Negativity. Yeah.
You just no room for it.
No room for it. Being negative.
So this next question, we will bleep it for the family out there. What is your favorite curse word, swear word? You gotta say.
I gotta say, like I grew up in sports, whatever, honestly, my staff would say that my statement would be "F this." Yeah. Like that was my stop zone. Was just going, all right, I'm not. That's it. That's it.
F is a popular one, let me tell you. Especially in 2020.
That would be the truth be told. That's the truth. If there was when I had it, and that was like, I know I'm going to go in a direction. That's probably the statement I'll use.
Awesome.
There you go.
So, another personal question: what is your favorite noise or sound?
My favorite noise or sound. Oh, that you know what? That's easy. Water.
Yeah.
Water.
Our bodies are water. We connect with water. And that is actually a very popular answer. Really? I was surprised you didn't say that the big, when they're dropping those weights on the floor and you hear that boom, right? That's a satisfying noise too. But yeah, water's a biggie.
Water's a good one for me. I used to have water in all the clubs, and that was a big thing. I think that just puts you in a mindset. Yeah. It brought you at peace, because you are going to throw weight around, right? And there's got to be some kind of balance in there. Not that I'm I have yoga and all those things, but I think there's something real big about balance. So I think when I'm just listening to water running, it says okay. It just says the fountain, brings me down a little bit.
The rain, the ocean, it's all very calming.
Exactly.
Yeah, love it. What is your least favorite sound?
Probably weights clanging.
After 30 billion years in the gym.
I'd probably say it's funny. I'd probably there's a tie. When it comes to my gut is weight slamming, because I always feel like if you're slamming the weights and you weren't strong enough to lift them. So don't drop them. Like set them down and be strong enough to do both.
Good to know.
And that was always mine, because I always, worked with big heavy dudes. I'm like, don't drop that thing. You picked it up, set it down, right?
Yeah, I don't drop mine. Of course, mine are about this big.
True, and that's all. Like setting some of those down can sound loud, so I'm just half kidding on that one. But the other one is sirens.
Yeah.
Sirens. It's funny. I have a 10-and-a-half-year-old German Shepherd, and to this moment, he is super sensitive to when a siren goes, and he howls like he's crying. Aww. And I think for me, I always kind of say something not good is happening. Right. So that sound probably is even higher than somebody dropping weights to me.
It is. So now I want you to take yourself to a place where being a business owner like this is not on the table. Sports is not on the table. Think of yourself back as a teenager. What profession would you have chosen if none of this was possible?
Easiest answer I can do. I would have loved to have been a fighter pilot.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah, I went and got a dream of mine, a long time ago, got my pilot's license, but I didn't know back in the day that you can go to flight school, or, I didn't really think I wanted to play baseball in college. I didn't think about what would happen if I didn't play ball in college. I would have joined the Air Force and done that. I would have loved it. To this moment, I still,
would it have been the mental challenge or the freedom of flying?
Yes.
Both.
Both, because I think, that, a true, certainly a fighter pilot has more knowledge of flying and what that plane can do, and certainly just all in general, just generalities that he has to do, both physical, mental, and certainly flying a plane. So I think you got to get the best of both worlds, which is
it's not too late to go to that flight school.
I think the eyes wouldn't let me do that anymore, but I played golf the other day with a lieutenant colonel who flies the fighter stealth fighters.
Oh wow!
And I was like a kid. Like it could have been the president of the United States would have meant less to me. That's probably a bad term right now, but then him, when he was talking to me, I was like every word. I was just hanging on it because it was just so cool.
Yeah, it is. This is kind of like it is for me right now, being able to hang on to every word of someone that is that, and I get it. It is a beautiful thing when you can spend time with someone that you just want to emulate. Yeah, for sure. Last question. Give you a second for this one. I want you to think of a famous person, dead or alive, could be a celebrity, singer, politician, whoever, throughout history. If you could have dinner with them, who would it be and why?
Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
It's always been an easy answer for me because I thought about it a lot, and I think there was everything to lose for him, and not a whole lot to be gained in what he was doing. You can say all the different things that were going around on the deal, but his overall theme was heroic to this country and what this country needed, and obviously he lost his life because of it, but the risks to him and his families were so much greater than even the message. That to me I think was heroic, and I would love to just ask him a million questions.
Where would you take him to dinner?
Wherever he wanted.
Exactly, even at home, right?
Yeah, wherever he wanted, and to try to understand where I would want to understand how he got to that point. I think
the courage.
People see me today completely different than they saw me in 1991 or two, right? But I'm the same guy.
Yeah.
There's a path that got me here today, and I would want to know because I think that's amazing. So I'd want, not for my own, but to understand what somebody else's path was to get him to that point, to have the strength to deal with what he had to deal with.
He had a dream.
He had a dream.
You had a dream.
Yeah.
And you actually had a very prophetic dream. Was it 1990 that you said yes to that dream, and he said yes to his dream? So actually the two of you are a lot alike. And what you're doing right now, fighting for mental health, fighting for physical health, is for the people.
I appreciate you saying that. Well, I can promise you all this: I'm not going to stop. There's nothing I would have stopped already if I was going to stop. I'm not going to stop doing it at all. I'm not trying it for sure.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do the interview today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Great questions.
This is Tom Hatten, and Mountainside Fitness founder and CEO. And this is Kimberly Tocco, Tenacious T.
Very nice. Thank you.
And that's it. Well done. Thank you so much.
Oh, nice job. Great questions. I appreciate it.